then from then on we went on, and Oudenarde was in flames and was bombed, and then we were told that we're going to withdraw to better positions. But the matter of the fact is that the Germans were making their way back to driving us back into Dunkirk, and all the things were all burnt, all the equipment, the clothes and the lorries, the brain guns and everything were all burnt and slaughtered. Horses were killed 14 miles this side of Dunkirk, a place called Newport. And food, well, I got another 34 kilometres to go, and we got on a lorry for so far, and then we jumped off and we went through the cornfields, and it was through the cornfields that we got caught up with the Jerrys once more, and we were machine gunned. And it was a time then I threw my overcoat away and my haversack, and decided to go on just with my trousers and tunic, tin helmet and binoculars. And we made our way to Dunkirk, and my pal, who was a small chap, his feet were bleeding through so much walking that we got an old bicycle and put him on that. And we pushed him the other 17 kilometres we got to go, pushing him along the road. And of course each time the Jerrys were coming over machine gunning us at the same time, and we had to dodge and then make another move. And I remember when the first raid came over, that we was on a lorry, we were making our way to Dunkirk, and I said to Bob, my mate, I said, good God, look at this lot coming over. There were 16 German fighters coming over, and bombers to bomb us. So we jumped the lorry and made our way down on the ground into a ditch. But as I dropped down and hid my head like that under with my hands, and so to protect my face. And I looked up and I found I was underneath one of the French cavalry horses. I thought to myself, well, I can't sit here, the blooming thing will hit me to pieces. So I made another rush and jumped on the top of 4 of my fellows who was in the ditch. And as we lie in the ditch, the German machine guns tried to machine gun us, and the bullets were exactly 6 inches away from us as they went right the way through. Another movement and we'd all been killed. It just happened that they just missed us by 6 inches. We were very lucky there. So on we went, and then this is where we had to walk, and we met the drum major, was our drum major, and he got a map and he put us on the right road to Dunkirk, and we moved there. And then when we got to Dunkirk, and it was late at night, and we put Bob down because he couldn't walk. I said, you stop there and I'd see if I can find the 44th Div. There was a brigadier or an officer at the bandstand at Newport trying to direct the troops, which was impossible. But he said the 44th Div were further down past that ship that's been on the fire. Apparently it was a troop ship which the Germans had dropped a bomb right down the funnel and blew it to pieces, and caught on fire, and quite a number of the soldiers were burnt to death in that troop ship. And then I came back and I found 44th Div, but I couldn't find Bob or this man who lives over the road here, Fred Greenfield, who were with me. And I was calling their names out, and I'd already been on one night on the beach, and I thought, so I've got to stop here another night, they've gone. So I laid up in the sand dunes with some other fellas, which I didn't know, as we soon got to know each other. And then the next morning I found the 44th Div, so I stopped there another night with them. And it was the next morning at 6:30 that we queued up on the beaches to catch the market lifeboat or whatever boat came in. But between then, the Jerrys had already got their ranges with their guns. The guns were shelling the beaches, and Captain, I forgot his name now, Captain Freeman I think his name was, said, I think we better move back towards the guns, you see. And just as he said that, we'd only been away about half a minute when a shell dropped exactly where we were sitting and blew his water bottle to pieces. So there was another luck there, because if we'd stopped there another minute we'd all been killed. Quite a number of fellas were killed by shell fire, and as we were there, of course the Germans put 2 shells into the hospital, which is alongside, into the roof. And the British Red Cross nurses were coming out on the beach and picking up the wounded and taking them in. Quite a lot of the fellas were blinded by shrapnel, and it was nothing fresh to see chaps dead along on the beach, you know, as you walked along. And then, and before that, we went, as I told you before, we were caught up in this box barrage, and we were there for 24 hours. But it's amazing. All of them got out of that without a scratch. But as we got onto the lorries to drive away, the Germans came along again and machine gunned us, and 7 of our men were wounded then. And my mate jumped straight into a ditch, which is in France, in the villages, is nothing else but sewerage and washing up water. And you just imagine how he smelt when he came out. Well, anyway, he went down to our HQ, and the officer said, "Are the guns still talking?" And he said, "Yes, sir." Well, he said, "Get back to them then," he says, "and you can't expect to have another uniform." He said, "That'll dry on you." And I'm glad to say that when we got back to England, that CO was cashiered and he was transferred out of the army altogether. So he wasn't any good to anybody. Which was one of the wrong ones, you see, to lead troops. So anyway, we got on the destroyer, and the Market Lifeboat picked us up. We got on the destroyer, and the first thing that was given to me from the Navy was a hot bowl of soup, and I stood up against the funnel to dry myself, and I looked like a steam pudding with all this steam coming out over our tunics, drying this water on us. We got to Dover and we were fitted out with uniform best they could. It didn't fit, and as we went by we could see the people in their windows putting on placards, "Thank you," and the tears rolling down the mother's face with the children at the window, thanking us for what we had done. We hadn't done anything. We'd only been out to France, to Dunkirk, and we got caught in the crossfire of the great German force that was coming on us, in which in one sense we'd got no equipment or armaments at all to fight them with.